All right, welcome to another episode of Aberrant, Project Utopia. This vidcast is rated MA for fantasy violence, language, and sexual situations. The recording for Aberrant will be in the raw, which means there will be little to no editing. I'm Kirk, and I'm the game master for Aberrant First Edition.
I'm Mary, and I will be playing the character of Bethany King, aka Firefly.
Seth, I'll be playing Big T, aka Big T.
I'm Andrew. I will be playing the character Zeus, aka Connor Blood.
Okay, so you guys got back from dropping off the asset, and you have a couple hours left. We are going to do a quick fast forward through some stuff that we just sort of did offline. Connor tried to break into Kane Maiko's phone. Spent about 2 hours doing it, did not get the successes he needed, so he's going to take a break on that for a 24-hour period so the security in the phone or whatever it's linked to doesn't go berserk. And Big T took off and spent the evening racing across the planet to get breakfast for everybody from Provence or from Paris, France, or whatever. And he makes it back about the same time that breakfast is normally brought up, about 8 o'clock for everybody in the hotel room. And so the doors open. They're walking in with the carts of food, and he comes flying in right behind them with a cooler full of hot food, croissants, bagels, baguettes, lox, fresh jam, things like that, fresh cream, butter, all that stuff. And it's like a nice little crockeries with like ceramic stuff. It's all like he got it from some tiny little store and brought it over. So, and he's putting it all out on a table super fast. And then he stands back and he smiles. And
That's it. Okay, good. So listen, I just wanted to tell everybody how sorry I am for trying to blow everybody up. I've been real insecure about joining this group and thought I could get more money and wanted to be big time. But and then I realized maybe I just needed to prove myself in a really big way. And I thought getting rid of that guy with the C4 last night was going to be the way to do it. But it wasn't, and I'm really sorry, and I hope you can accept me into your union.
Bethany has already started eating while you're saying all of this, piling things on a plate, but not like she usually this is a more delicate pile because it's more of a, I don't know, delicacy seems redundant, but you know what I mean. And she's just watching you while she's making food. So, apology is very much appreciated. We're not really a union. That's a weird thing to say, but and if you want, Utopia, we're not even in charge of getting you into Utopia. That's all through Ramirez, who I think you already know. But I'm glad you realized that a lot of people got hurt yesterday, and it's just really need you to think a little bit before you do things like throw explosives into a bunch of your allies.
I absolutely understand.
When you say union, Zeus actually takes a moment like, are we a union? Do I owe dues?
am I the president?
He starts pulling up his contract on his phone and is quickly skimming through it. But then when he realizes oh, this is one of those discussions, puts the phone away. There's a time and a place for, all actions. Luckily, we all lived through that mistake. But I do wonder what made you think it was a good idea in the first place. Even in the sense of trying to prove yourself. I mean, is that kind of a backlash that we're going to have to look out for?
Oh, I wouldn't think so. I just didn't know how big a blast C4 would give me. And that was my mistake.
Well, they use it to bring down buildings and large structures. So there's that.
And now I know.
I think the important
now you
thing
know.
is whenever you don't know, maybe err on the side of this could blow everybody up, and also ruin the plan.
Literally, when it's explosives.
Okay, I will.
But to echo what Bethany was saying, we have no control whatsoever of you becoming part of Utopia, or even where you'll get signed, assigned to. They may decide they need you on a mission separate than us. They may decide that you make an interesting ragtag triad with us. So far, working with you has been interesting, but it hasn't been trying, to say the least.
I appreciate that. And I'll talk to Ramirez.
Okay. The rest of the breakfast falls out the same way. And you guys do come to find out that he knows Ramirez outside of Utopia, and that they have a connection. So there is a little bit, I think, from him feeling that maybe Ramirez is making things a little too easy sometimes, and that's why he's trying to also compensate for that, or to make sure he's gotten where he's gotten on his own merit, that sort of thing. So, which is something I keep forgetting, that his contact is Ramirez, or his what is that? Backing? I don't have you in front of me. Mentor?
Mentor, yeah, mentor.
Yeah. So, all right.
Yes, mentor.
It should be on backgrounds.
Yeah, I have it. I was spreading out my papers.
Yeah. And you guys get a notification on your TV vid screen. An incoming message pops up. It says Chrome Samurai is joining in so many minutes. There's like a spinning wheel. And his symbol is coming to be a silver samurai helmet with like a sword underneath. And it pops up, and there's like a spinning dial. And like a minute later, the video pops up, and it's him. And he's got a towel wrapped around his head like he just got out of the shower. And he's sitting there, no shirt on, in front of his computer banks. And he's like, "Good morning, everybody."
Cheers, except it's kind of muffled through baguette.
He says, "What happened last night? What was going on?"
We completed we went, did the job, we completed the job, and now we're waiting for a deposit.
Done.
The bad guys brought explosives. Things got louder than we intended, but we got it done.
Ah, that's what it was. He says, I got the security feeds wiped. There's no footage from starting about an hour before you guys showed up on the site until for the rest of the time. I just wiped them all. He said, I didn't want to go in and do the same thing I did at the other job where I took people out of video and stuff like that and looped things. Just so it looks like it's a different sort of intrusion. He says, I pulled what I could, but everything got shut down pretty fast. And it's almost like they pulled the hard cables on everything. So He said, I was able to pull up a file called G1I94M32H. It was pretty well hidden, but we got some information on it. It's about meshing quantum and hard tech, which no one's really been able to do so far. And it looks like some nanites were created using quantum powers and almost given their own really basic AI for each one. And they were working on using tainted MR nodes to create some sort of organic batteries for hard tech, almost like weapons and guns and things like that. He said,
And by MR nodes, you mean the thing that only grow in our brains?
yes. And it looks like they were, when it was being put together, they were using nodes from brain dead donors. And he says, I started to get a little more into it, and that's when everything got cut out. So there was a lot of specifics, a lot of startup capital and things like that was coming from strange places. It's not all one company funding this. But it does seem like this Bova Industrial Amalgamated was funding the majority of it, or funneling the most money into the project. He said, I was also able to pull an image of the lab, and he puts up the image on the screen, and it's a lab, and you guys were up sort of in the office area, and this camera caught a little bit of you guys coming in, but the still frame is of the lab behind where you guys were at, and it looks like there's a table with a covering over it, and when he zooms in and enhances it, there's a body on covered up with a sheet, and he says it looks like that the table it's on was on a track, not like a railroad track, but like a groove in the floor where it's either automated, brought in, and brought out. And he says, and he zooms in, it goes up to the wall and it ends. So he's like, I don't know where these things are coming from, what's behind the wall, but that may have been how they were moving them in and out. So there may have been storage somewhere for more.
Chrome, sorry to interrupt you, but you appear to be breaking your own advice that you gave me from last night about digging and getting involved.
It was on the files that I was deleting. It was on the video files. He's like, I just noticed it when I was going back through you guys. So that's what I was putting together for them.
All right.
So he's turned it all over to Mortis, and he says it's too hard not to look at some of this stuff, but that was one of the weird things with the subterranean level, was that file was only located on that server down there where you guys put the disk in. So,
well, you said it was high security. I'd imagine that they'd, take what we would seem, inordinate levels of, take inordinate steps just to get, just to maintain that security and that privacy.
Right. And it looks like it was on that computer specifically by itself, not on a server, not anywhere else. So, and that was not part of the deal of getting stuff out. We were just supposed to get him out. I was supposed to be put in the system so I can clear things out, and that's what I found. So, but it's going to be, if Mortis, he says, if I hired Mortis to do a job, I would expect him to probably go through the files himself. There's no way for a hacker not to go into a treasure trove like that and not look around, not poke your nose around, that sort of thing. So he said, I didn't get everything out, but the video image right before I killed everything, that's what I saw the tracks and everything. And so I saved that image, but all the rest are all gone. Did you guys search around to see if there was storage or anything? Any other bodies that were around? No.
We really didn't have the time.
Okay.
We may have been a little more curious had alarms not been sounded before we even got in.
Okay.
But as it was, we had to get everything and get out.
Okay. He says it looks like satellite images over the facility are showing trucks being brought in and loaded up. These are like big moving trucks. And they all went to a shipping distribution hub that's already in use. They were unloaded there, and then things were going out and coming in the whole time. So he says, I don't know where anything is. We could probably track it, but it would be very lengthy because we don't know when stuff's being sent out or where it's going or anything like that. So he's like, I lost track of everything once it got to that hub. And if they're not putting things in the system and they're just moving it out and calling it Lot B, Lot C, whatever, he said it's all gone as far as he could tell. He says satellite footage over the storage facility where you dropped off the mark was turned off about an hour before you guys showed up and didn't come back on until about 2 hours after you guys were gone. He says he was contacted by Mortis just a little bit ago, and he was unhappy with the high visibility of the job, not getting in and out quietly, but the pay was for getting Kane out where he's still able to work. So he's going to pay out, but Chrome Samurai doesn't think that there's going to be any future jobs from him.
Part of me is playing him the world's smallest violin. The other part of me, just as a professional, feels the need to point out that it wasn't us that blew this all up. We didn't bring the explosives. It was the other team, completely unprofessional hitmen, if I do say so myself, that exposed everything for what it was. And in that atrocity that they committed, that they call a job, we succeeded and got everything out. If anything, this should be a glowing recommendation for us. But again, smallest violin for our oh-so-sad client.
That is going to have to be a subterfuge. And at least 3 successes.
So before I roll my exploding 10s, I have 3.
Okay. All right. He lies like a jailbird. You other two need to keep a straight face and not like eyeball each other while this is happening. So this is going to be perform or charisma, just in general, because I don't think it was discussed that you were going to try and blame this on the other group before it happened.
No, that was I was just gonna leave that line that they brought the explosives and
Right.
leave it at that.
Yeah, but in the background, it's one of those like you're watching a vid call and one person looks over at the other person like the slow, like what?
I got a total of 5.
Okay,
So
you look great.
You have that. Is manipulation one of your good skills?
I don't. So I have 3s in everything except appearance, which I have a 4 and a mega. So yes, manipulation is one of my good skills, and so I've got 3 there, and then also 3 in subterfuge. So I'm rolling on a dice pool of 6.
Well then, how do you have exploding 10s then?
Oh, so no,
That
just
should
3
only be
then.
on attributes of 4 or higher. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. No, you're right. You're right.
Okay.
And no mega manipulation, right?
No,
Okay.
my only mega charisma, my only mega. Yeah, no, you're right. Thank you
Strength.
for calling me out.
You still got it.
Actually,
Still
only
got it.
because I wrote all that down last time. I'm trying to remember it, like when things explode and when they don't. So
Yep.
I don't mean to like.
No. Keep it honest.
This whole system we need to all keep an eye on for each other because I'm obviously messing stuff up too. So
Well, I got 4 on a performance roll.
oh, psh,
Which was straight charisma, but I'm really good at that.
yeah,
So
she's golden. She doesn't bat an eye. She just puts another croissant in.
0.
You got 0 successes?
I did not botch, but I got 0 success. It was, it's still 7 for a success, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
0. Yeah.
All right. So you do a weird like kind of look around at both of them and look back at the camera. There's no audio like what? But you do look at both of them like what? All right. So he says, so we're going to deposit the 14 million. How do you guys want that divided up between you?
Put it all into my account, and then from there, I'll inform you who it needs to go to, and we'll launder it through a few, so it doesn't look like that I'm paying them.
Okay.
But that can be a ground that you and I start on.
Yeah. Okay. He says done. He says that's all I got. If I hear anything more or there's any follow up, I'll contact you guys. If you hear anything, let me know. It looks like the media is just putting out that there was an accident at the facility and it's being cleared out for some structural, minor structural damage, that sort of thing, a minor earthquake or something. And with
I mean, they happen all the time in California.
yeah,
Right.
Luckily, everybody got out safely.
yep. And with that,
it's laboratory. Those places are dangerous.
yeah. And with that, he nods his head and it closes up, goes back to a black screen.
Zeus goes back to like his gallon jug protein drink that he drinks every breakfast.
And that, yeah, still like, what? Why? But so how are we dividing this up?
Evenly.
Okay.
So there was, what, 6 of us total?
6, 7.
Yeah. So it's a little more than 2 each.
Yeah, a little more than 2 each.
There's 5 of you,
It's even.
right?
No, we had 3. We had 3 assistants, so it would have been 6.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Because it was Copycat, Brett, and Dante.
Dante. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. So divide it up how you want to.
Yeah, just evenly.
Whatever 14 million divided by 6 is.
Let's see. Uh, 2,333,333.333.
Somebody
Yeah.
gets an extra penny and
Yeah.
it's fine.
That's why it went into my account.
So you're gonna keep all the. I actually had a D&D character who did that once, who just kept all the extra coppers because we divided things into thirds. It's fine. Yeah. Just keep the pennies. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll add up eventually.
Yeah. So another big chunk of today, Zeus is going to send 3 kegs of beer to Dante's fraternity, just like with as an anonymous delivery.
Okay.
For Brett, it's going to send him a case of really nice steaks and a bottle of scotch. Again, anonymous delivery. And God, what would be good for Copycat?
Elizabeth, Copycat.
She got the most damaged, the most beat up from everything.
That's.
But she also like snagged some regen, so she's literally fine.
Yeah, but still, it's trauma.
Right, but still, that's
Yeah, but this is like it's not like a get well gift or anything
Right.
like that. It's a thanks for coming on this job with me. And like my knee jerk response is like, we can get her like some. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm going to order a version of her suit like as it is, but reinforced.
Okay. She's got fiber on, so there may be something you can do to grow it a little more. We're going to have to figure that out. It seems like they were hinting at that in the books, but they never completed it. And I think since it's a background, it's something you can increase. And it's an organic. You're growing more of it. You're growing it tougher or something. So it's
Kind of like donating experience points for her to. Sure, fuck it, I'll do that.
yeah. I want to say
And in
that-
game terms, I took like somebody else had already like grown some that can be added on, and I just paid them for it.
Yeah, that it could be switched out. So she could take what she has, trade it in for a better version. Yeah, that could be done, and Utopia can facilitate that too. So, what did you? Her fiber is 4. I guess you could just bump it up one more to 5.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that.
and I can donate some XP to that too.
Not XP. It's money. It's a lot of money.
Okay.
I am gonna donate 200K to the other 5
Okay.
as an apology gift.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So everybody gets 200K.
Brett and
And you
Dante
get money,
are
and
like,
you get money, and you get money.
Brett and Dante are really loving this. It's just out of nowhere, they're like,
Yeah.
Dante's like, oh, steak, scotch, an extra 200K.
Yeah. Yeah. And a little bit later, you get a message from Brett, and he says, "We'd like to meet you guys in the conference room sometime this afternoon."
Okay.
Set up a time. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything you guys want to do in the meantime? It's like an hour away.
Not really. Zeus would go shower, scrub himself, clean all up. Put on like an official Project Utopia suit, like super outfit, one of those.
Okay.
I still don't have an apartment or any place to live. I'm just gonna hang out in the common room.
Okay. An hour goes by, and you guys head downstairs to the conference room, and
Fire pole.
you guys get in there, and someone has come through and put like water and some coffee in, and that's it. So water, coffee, and maybe some juice or something sitting on the table.
I survive.
So, question: are we the first ones there?
Yes.
Okay. Zeus identifies the power seat and sits there.
Okay.
So it'd be the one like because if it's like a conference room, there would be like a main screen that everyone looks at. So he'd be like center of that, but also like where you can see everyone coming in from the door.
What would that be? Either etiquette or bureaucracy. One of the two. Or or intimidation if you wanted it to be intimidating the whole time.
No, he's just full of himself.
Bureaucracy or etiquette.
Huh. Surprisingly enough, I don't have anything in bureaucracy, but I do got lots of etiquette.
There you go.
Well, one of these things requires smarts.
4.
Okay. You think the head of the head of the table, one of the heads, and there is a big screen on one that normally does projections and stuff. So you sit there, It's about 10 minutes later. They come in. It's Brett, Elizabeth, and Dante, and they're looking a lot better, all freshened up, ready to go. And
When they walk in, Zeus stands up from his seat, directs them to chairs, like, "Ah, yes, please have a seat."
all right. It seems like Elizabeth and Dante are more energetic or open when they come in. Brett seems a little bit distant, and they come in, shake hands with everybody, and say hi, and then sit down. And they, I guess Dante takes the lead, and he says, "We really wanted to meet about the incident last night in the desert and talk it over and just see what's going on with that, and do we have to worry about it in the future? Because we don't really know you guys that well, and if this is the way that you guys are doing missions, then we need to either bulk up or not go on some of these if this is going to be, if we're going to be fighting others and teammates." So they just want to make sure that there's culpability and team playing and that sort of thing. So
Fearing that this isn't going to be a problem.
Well, Zeus kind of like, he takes a seat and he kind of looks over and goes, "Dante, I didn't speak to you, but Elizabeth, that's her name?"
yeah.
Yeah. But Elizabeth, Brett, I told you in advance that there was another team in play and that we may interact with them and have to fight them. I know none of us were trying to kill them. I know I was using my more subdue powers, but they brought explosives and they combined. It's, again, it comes back to that ugly part of the job. So I did inform you ahead of time about the possibility of and the high likelihood of having to go up against other. Oh God, they're not exalted. What are they?
Novas.
Novas. Other Novas.
Brett is sitting there the whole time, and he looks like he's getting red-faced. And he calmly kind of looks up at you, Zeus, directly, and says, "You didn't tell us we'd be fighting our own teammates." And that's what this comes down to. That the explosives were tossed into our group on purpose by one of our team members. And we want to make sure if it's going to happen again, do we need to take cover, be notified, come extra prepared if this is going to continually happen? Or do we need to find another group?
It's not going to continually happen. We discussed this, and what happened because of an uncertainty, and in the future those uncertainties will be aired on the side of not throwing explosives, as it were.
Okay.
Nobody intended to cause that much damage.
Elizabeth turns to Brett and she says, "See, I told you it wasn't on purpose." She says, this is our first mission out, and it seemed like it went south pretty fast. So we just want to make sure that we're not getting in over our heads.
And we'll be honest, we've come across stuff that we don't know before. This is the most off plan we've had something happen to us. But we all did survive, and it won't happen that way again.
I want to make something perfectly clear here. I don't speak for Big T. The explosives were not part of the plan. That was his judgment call. if you have an issue with him, which I absolutely think is completely founded, you need to take it up with him. We're all adults. And yes, he came in with, us, and we brought him in for for his speed. Because it seemed like a good thing, and it absolutely did come in clutch the way we had intended for his speed to come in. But yes, it was an unforeseen circumstance that Bethany and myself cannot be held responsible for. The only person who can be held responsible for that is T, and as Novas and as heroes, we are all responsible for our own actions.
I don't know that that's true in this sense.
Elizabeth,
If we're working as a team, what happens to the team is the responsibility of all of us.
yeah, and that's Elizabeth agrees with her. She says that's my concern
so unless
too.
you're saying, right. So what we need to be addressing here, and like I said, we have already talked to Big T. He came to us this morning, and I realize he's sitting like right here. I'm deliberately not leaving you out of the conversation, Seth, like in character. I'm trying to, I'm not doing the thing where I'm talking away from you as if you weren't there.
Okay.
But-
So, and aside, sorry, am I in the room or not? Because I thought I was in the room.
You're
then-
in the room.
You're right
Okay,
there, which
'cause
is
then
why I'm
Because then it got
reacting
talking
a
about
little bit strangely
like,
to everything he's saying. Yes.
yeah, because it seemed like I thought I was in the room and I was like trying to interject, and then it seemed like I was out of the room. I wasn't sure what was going on for a little while. Sorry.
No, you're
Yeah,
fine.
no, you've been as far as I know, you've been in the room the whole time.
Right.
And basically, Zeus is not taking responsibility for your actions. Is what it comes down to.
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's
and
fine.
Bethany's over here trying to smooth that over because that's
Right.
exactly not the track that we need to be taking to keep everybody on board
Right.
with this.
Yeah.
Because this, I mean, it's true. This was a big mistake to happen, but we know that, and
Yeah.
as long as we acknowledge this, and again, looking at Big T, it won't happen that way again. That such a risky decision will be made with so many uncertainties.
Right.
Yes, I just wanted to say again, like I said at the beginning of this whole conversation, just it's not going to happen again.
Yeah.
Though I do think the question of responsibility for, like, yes, we're a team and we need to look out for each other when we are together on missions. But at the same point in time, ultimately, we need to be held accountable for our own actions. If, let's say, Dante, you go to put someone to sleep and you slip them into a coma on accident. You didn't mean to. That wasn't your desired outcome, but it's what happened. Do we roast you? Or anyone else's? Brett, you go to grapple someone and you crush them. There's always that we have to gauge and hold on to and respect our powers and our choices that we make here. You could have, when you go to grapple someone, you could have chose not to grapple them. When you put someone to sleep, you could have chose to not put them to sleep. Yes, he grabbed an explosive. Yes, he threw it. Kind of a hard one for someone to defend, but the only one who can speak to what was going on in his mind is him.
Brett says, I understand all this, but I think what we're missing is an apology to Copycat for almost killing her. I understand it's not going to happen again, but I need to hear Big T say he's sorry for almost blowing her and some more of us up. There were two dead
Most
bodies
of
on
us.
two dead bodies on the field when we left that party, so we're kind of lucky.
I absolutely apologize.
You see him visibly untense. He says we just need to watch what we're doing and not drop a building on each other or blow up, a vehicle that we might be in, that sort of stuff. So as long as we're consciously going forward from here and not doing reckless things or showboating, then I think I feel a lot better about being part of this collaborative teamwork situation. And I think we all do. And he says he basically points to the rest, the other two.
Well, I'm happy to hear that.
Okay. He says that's all. We've gotten gifts shipped to us this morning, and we really appreciate them. And we just wanted to also know when the payment's going to be deposited in our accounts, that sort of thing.
That's getting sorted out today.
Okay. And was everything okay with the drop? We didn't hear anything.
Everything
Yes.
went fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we took him to the secured location and dropped as expected.
Okay.
Yeah, we were paid. We'll be paid in full.
Okay. That's all we want to know. We just wanted to touch base with everything and see everyone in person instead of doing this over a phone call or an email, that sort of thing. So, all right. Well, we'll get going and let us know. I guess send us a message when the money's going to be rolling through, and we'll catch you guys later.
Speaking of that money, just know that 200K of that is a little on top as an apology. Extra apology.
We're all getting 200K extra?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And they all kind of stand up and shake everybody's hands, and they head out. I got to write down where they're all located. That's what that was. All right. So you guys are...
Yeah, I've got that. I've got those notes. I just got to minimize so I can get over to them.
I had it written down, and then stuff got
So
moved.
Elizabeth
What are we looking for?
lives like a floor down. Like we might actually be
she's
on the
in the
same
building.
floor
Yes.
that she lives on.
Yeah.
Brett lives with Glenn Patel. I don't know if that's a house or whatever, but it seemed more towards the outside of Vegas. Why am I so bad with words today?
That's right. I want to say they were up north.
Okay.
We had Elizabeth and somebody else is in your building.
Johnny Taylor.
That's what it is.
And then Dante lives on campus in a frat.
Yeah.
Right.
He's in the frat house.
And I didn't bother to ask where Ditto/Tina lives because we weren't needing her for this job.
Right. Johnny Taylor.
But I believe she lives on her own. And Artemis is somewhere.
She's not based in the U.S. as far as I know.
Correct.
Unless
She's
she
still
was
in-
moving here.
She was still in England as far as you guys knew.
Yeah.
Dante is in a frat house. All right. Ditto. All right. So that's all taken care of. You guys are still in the conference room unless you want to go back upstairs. Sitting there.
Yeah, I know Zeus would wait for everyone to leave, and then he would get up and be the last one to, like, if it's just the three of us,
Yeah.
when that's all that's left, that's when he would get up and leave.
Okay. Gets head
I'm
back.
gonna go find a room somewhere.
Okay.
I don't have a place to stay.
All right. Keep in mind, you're not limited to just this building, especially if you're looking to stand out. Maybe taking residents on the south or east side might be a good idea, especially with as fast as you are. You can get here no problem.
Take that in consideration.
But I can't discredit the service we get here enough.
Yeah. And there's also the casino that you guys helped ribbon cut on. They might be happy to have you as well, since you saved their building from being knocked down.
Well, I will try there first.
Okay. I think that was the Black Spire or something like that, the Black Tower.
Sounds
Something
right.
like that.
Sounds right.
Yeah. You race off.
Bethany's gonna go for a drive
Okay.
just into the desert.
Okay. She takes off. Big T, I think this is going to be either an etiquette charisma roll or a biz wits roll.
Etiquette what?
Etiquette charisma or biz wits.
Both of them suck.
You could spend
I'm
a
really
willpower
good at
point
both
if you
of
want.
I will spend a willpower point, yes.
And if you want, you can use your mentor dice, your mentor points as dice. You basically just have to call Ramirez and see if he can put in a good word for you.
Ramirez just hung up the phone on me. Guess he was busy.
I don't have time for this guy.
It took me a second, but I figured it out.
So luckily I spent the willpower. I got one success.
Okay. You zip in and ask to talk to the manager, and they quickly put you up to the owner, and the owner is very happy to put you up in one of their big suites upstairs. It's not the penthouse, but it's huge, and it's brand new, so everything smells like a new car inside and all that good stuff. And he says,
Walk around and just be like, "This is the way it should be."
he says, we can do that. We can comp this for you as part of your pay for saving the building, that sort of thing, and doing promotions for us in the future, as long as we can, advertise that you're living here and that sort of stuff. Come down to the bar once or twice a week on a Saturday and mingle, that sort of thing.
Naivete, I'll say yes.
Okay. Sounds good. A little bit later, I'd say about 20 minutes later, whoever's at the main hotel gets a call from Ramirez. So if Firefly's out, yeah.
That would definitely be Zeus. He'd still be
Yeah,
there.
Firefly's out.
Okay. It's Ramirez. He says, "Good afternoon. I just got a call from the mayor of Las Vegas, and he wants to meet with you guys in City Hall tomorrow, if that's okay."
Is this a promo, handshake, meet and greet?
This may be a little bigger than that. This may be job-wise. This might be representation. I got the feeling that he wants you guys to officially become Las Vegas's Nova resident Novas.
I think they're getting an NFL team.
That's what it feels. That's how it's treated.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is all for that. He goes, okay. How many of us are going to be there? Is it going to be just Bethany and myself?
Anybody
Other
who-
ones?
Yeah, everybody who was at the fight down in front of that building, the casino, that's on your side. That was with you guys. So it's open to all of them. They want to sign
And
you. They want to sign you guys as a
how
group
much of this?
or a team.
I'm sorry, what?
He wants to sign you guys up as a group or a team.
And is Project Utopia okay with that? Because not all of us are Project Utopia members.
Ramirez says if you do this as independent contractors, that's fine. But the few of you that are working for us, we just ask that you mention us in promos and things like that when you can make it known that you're.
Yeah, that's already standard.
Yeah.
Okay.
But other than that, we don't. If you want to make money doing this, that's fine too. And if they later on become Utopia members, that's all the better for us too. So.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that should be. Yeah, that I know I'm on board. Obviously, I will have to speak with Bethany and inform her. Ooh, we're gonna need a name.
Yeah. So that's the main thing. You're probably going to need a name like something Las Vegas-y-ish, so that it sort of represents them too. So.
It needs to represent Las Vegas, but at the same point in time, it can't conflict with existing brands.
No.
Such as, like, we can't really become something too Sodom and Gomorrah, if you will. I need to think about this.
Okay. It's for 11 o'clock downtown. Like I said, the city hall is pretty easy to find. It's a big glass building, so just have everybody meet there probably about 10:45, and then you guys can all go up together. I won't be there, he says, but that's all I have.
Yeah, Zeus just kind of nods, and once the call ends, pulls out his cell phone and calls Bethany.
She's got her phone. She answers.
It's loud. There's wind going everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm used to this when I call her. He's just like, hey, just so you know, apparently the mayor of Las Vegas wants us and the crew to meet him tomorrow and possibly become the official Novas of Las Vegas.
Well, that's... Huh. This is not where I thought my life would end up. But do we have a name yet?
We
need a
don't.
name.
I'm thinking about it.
I vote for Phoenix, and then I guess I'll be back before tomorrow morning.
Phoenix isn't really a team name. That's a you
name.
name.
We are the Phoenix. Yes. No, we rise from the ashes. It totally works for everybody. Don't think too hard about it.
I couldn't think hard if I wanted to. That's the other guy. No.
All right.
Don't
fine.
worry.
I'll do some more
I will
thinking.
find something good.
Okay. Well, I'll do some more thinking as well. We'll figure it out.
All right.
Hang up with her, and she crests over a dune in her Jeep and takes off through the night.
Pretty much. Just blowing off, energy, steam, frustration, other things
Yep.
in desert air. And gears.
So who are you calling next?
Oh, I'm supposed to call everybody. No, Zeus called his team member.
But Zeus did not tell his team member to call anybody else.
Nope.
No, he's done. He goes about his day.
Okay. All right. The rest of the night goes out. Next morning.
I say Bethany would have come home around somewhere in the small hours in the morning so she can shower
Okay.
and
Okay. Come
relax
in,
for a
do
while
your
before-
thing. Dawn comes. The food starts to arrive. Let's see what they... Nope. You eventually get a call from Brett, Bethany.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, hey, when did you guys say that money was supposed to post to our accounts? We haven't seen anything come through yet.
It was supposed to be yesterday. Let me talk to Zeus, sort that out. I hadn't bothered to check yet, but yeah, no. It should be today. Should have been yesterday. Should be today. I'll get that figured out. And by that I mean I turn around and I go, "Hey, Connor."
Which she yells
What's mine?
across. Hey! Pops his head out of the room. What?
It's just disheveled sweats.
Uh-huh. The money that we said that was going to go out yesterday? It didn't?
Chrome was to one of the accounts, then bouncing it around, and then
Yeah, but
depositing
you
it.
needed to tell him how much was going to people. You didn't do that on
Yeah.
my call yesterday.
Yeah, I did. I told.
Didn't.
No.
No, we had that conversation after we hung up.
I am like legitimate, like convinced. I said
No,
because
we
he said,
literally
"How do you
had
want to
that.
split this up?"
No, he didn't.
And we
That
said
was,
evenly.
That was afterward.
Yeah, but no, because it was afterwards.
Yeah, that-
Because I turned around and I said, "So how are we splitting this up after the call ended?"
Right.
Because
I
it
thought that was also during the call.
No.
And he'll need account numbers from Dante and all them too, so which he doesn't have.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And Big
So
T.
now knowing that, now knowing that, he's going to flip over into Zeus, so he's got the correct voice, and that's when he's going to call people up and just get routing information.
Okay.
And let them know it's like they're starting the process today. Because it is literally millions of dollars, it takes time.
Okay.
This is actually true.
Yeah.
Right.
Anything else you want to tell him while you're talking to him on the phone?
As soon as the question is, like, I assume that it was like, because he just said that it was us. I don't know. Do I think about it?
Well, yeah, no, all I ever told.
Are you doing this on
Bethany
purpose?
was
That's
that-
the other thing. If you are purposely
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
ghost everybody, that's going to be this is going to be some hardcore manipulation on everybody to lie to them to their faces and say, "Hey, there's nothing going on," and then you guys are in photo ops with the mayor.
Yeah, no. Okay. So
So,
on the phone with Brett, because he'll be the first one I'll call.
okay,
I'm already.
I will ask.
Isn't he the one who called me?
Yeah, he called.
he's
you,
on the
and I
phone with you
called
right
him.
now.
Yeah.
He's like,
No,
"What?
I'm still literally like
Why?
I was on the phone with him. I turned around and I went, "Hey, Connor."
Bethany, why is Zeus calling me?"
Just answer it. It's relevant. It'll have the money situation. It's sorting out.
Okay, beep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I hang up.
So he flips over to
Okay.
me.
This is Brett.
He goes,
Yeah.
What's going on?
Hey, so I need to get your bank information from you. I thought all of this was all already set up from the terror of all this. Didn't realize he didn't have that information.
Do you want to get me?
We'll get that.
Do you want me to get you everybody's routing information so if there's any future things, this can all be automatic?
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm
Okay.
calling everybody. I'm
Okay.
not going to hold on to it myself. It's going to be I'm setting all that up right now. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Miscommunication between me and IT. Anyways, also, did Ramirez call you yesterday and let you know about what's going on today?
Who's Ramirez?
What? No,
Oh.
Ramirez didn't talk to me.
I'm not talking to you down there. in
Oh,
the
I thought you were
corner.
talking to me. Okay, Brett. I
You
thought
have
you
your
killed
own
me all
house
of a sudden.
Oh, okay. So,
I'm overhearing this and I stop and I'm like, what?
okay. So, we're going to need to phone tree this then, if you can please help.
Sure.
There is so the mayor of Las Vegas would like to meet all of us who took part in the defense of the building in the city the other day, to thank us. And Ramirez, who is with Utopia, believes that this is also going to be extended out to ask us to be the official Nova team of Las Vegas.
Okay.
He normally handles all the communications, which is why I just assumed he'd be calling you guys. I need to stop assuming I have more help than I do.
Okay.
I'm literally just face palming in like a corner on the other side of the room.
He gets your email from you,
The thing is, though,
and he says, "I'll have
Zeus
them forward."
is-
He says,
Yeah, Zeus is not used to doing this. He's
Yeah.
always had like somebody else doing all this for him. Which is why it's like there was no malicious manipulation involved with this. It's literally he doesn't think to do this.
Right.
And I just assumed that since you called me, you were going to call anybody else
Right.
who was relevant. So that's
To be fair, Zeus has made it clear on multiple occasions you are his only team member.
and that's,
all right. So
which is the other reason why I didn't think too hard about it. But yeah.
So Brett says, I will get your email to everybody. They will send you all their routing information for this job, and the others that didn't go on the job, I'll just tell them to send it to you for future things that we're going to route everything through you guys, and you'll distribute it to us. And I'll also tell them about the mayor's thing, the mayor's offer, and what time is it tomorrow? Today?
It's today, and I let him know what the time is.
Okay, he's like, 2 hours.
Like,
Okay.
from
Well,
now. Yeah.
let me call everybody real quick, and
Yeah,
we'll see you guys down there.
I'll take care of T. He's always around. Elizabeth and Johnny, since they're both in the building.
Okay.
If you could take care of Dante,
Yes.
your roommate, and Tia, that covers everybody.
Okay. And I'll tell them all to be in dress uniform for this, because there's probably going to be photographers there and everything. So,
Definitely.
Yeah.
all right. He hangs up. Phew.
I throw a biscuit at you. I'm like, that was almost disastrous.
You two showing up by yourselves, like,
I don't do HR.
why is nobody else here? Where's everybody else? What's going
Oh
on?
my god.
They must not want to work.
They don't want to be affiliated
Yeah.
with the City of Elf.
There'd be another conference meeting. Why are we being called to this? All right. So we're gonna yada you calling everybody as
Zeus
that
specifically joined
as that phone
Project
call was a
Utopia
disaster.
to not do his own HR anymore.
But you also specifically addressed that some of these people weren't Utopia
Right.
with Ramirez.
Right.
Who is
Yeah,
Utopia.
because you
Well-
might have to look them up in a phone book.
Right.
And a company email wouldn't work.
Right.
I was trying to help him.
Well, you even asked if this was Utopia's thing, and he was like, "No, I'm just letting you guys know," because they reached out to me to get a hold of you guys. Phew. Long way around. 2 hours later, we're gonna yada you guys getting dressed montage. You guys arrive at this huge glass and steel building. It's gorgeous. It's in downtown Las Vegas, in the business district, or the judicial business district, with the courthouse and all that stuff around there. So you guys walk in the lobby, and everyone's there. All the other 6 or 7 people are hanging out, waiting for you guys, and they're talking to. There's about 8 reporters there, local reporters, that are getting information from them and talking to them. They've kind of got wind of what's happening. So,
As we're walking up, knowing that Zeus is probably going to, or Connor's going to probably take over the reporters, I'm going to say to him, hey, hey, listen.
You don't know about
before we-
Connor.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Before we get up there, listen. I think we should have a name. I think we're going to be a group. I think we should have a name. Let's be the League of Las Vegas. Just put it in there when you talk to the press.
I like where your head's at. Alliteration is good.
No, it's perfect.
No. Better. Lucky stars. What happens when something goes
yeah,
right?
that sounds
You
the
thank
same.
your lucky stars.
I actually also had that phrase in mind, so I'm in.
I'll just I'll just nod my head and walk away.
Plus, stars are made out of fire, so
It seems like there's 4 people on the other end. 2 of them really were like, we were thinking the same thing. So there's about 3 people, Big T being one of them, that were kind of about it. So
Hey, it's 3 to 4.
yeah. It's
and
actually,
I literally, that was a phrase that had already occurred to me too. So.
yeah. So yeah, anything like that, any lucky stars or anything like that really denotes Las Vegas without being super sleazy, I guess. So, you guys are just a couple minutes away. You guys can start heading up. And the press is basically just talking to people about their powers, that sort of thing. And their names.
So you're just showing off.
That's another thing. Like, they all decide, they're all trying to come up with names. Brett says he wants to be called...
They're just trying to name on the fly.
Yeah. So Brett wants to be called Ripper. And Dante's not sure. Johnny's not too sure. And Glenn isn't too sure. So any ideas? They're like trying to come up with ideas. Like, any ideas what I should call myself? Glenn's got absorption level 3 and matter chameleon and mega strength. So he basically punches things when he absorbs energy. Dante's...
So like Zeus kind of like turns this into like a mini workshop. It's like, okay, so it's like you absorb, you get the mega strength. Do you want to be known for destruction or adaptability or resistance?